Hey, you beautiful brave hearts. It's the Cardio Medbed show. And today I'm going to be here with Marie, and Marie's in Italy right now. And Marie is, and she will tell you she's not, but she's an actual expert at the Cardio Medbed. And you may not know this, but if you could ever own one day, it would blow your mind. It would get rid of so much of the stress that you are feeling with yourself and your family. What would you do with perfect circulation? How about this? How about you have somebody that has a 93% blockage and they're told that they have to go for heart surgery? And how about this? How about after 35 to 40 hours, okay, you reversed on the cardio med bed, you reverse, okay, that situation, have the brand new set of arteries. Oh, but it's not just that. Their neuropathy is gone. Oh my God, they're not impotent anymore. Oh my gosh, they have more energy. Because understand something. You know this if you follow me. The only reason why you've got swelling, pain, inflammation, redness, and heat coming off a certain area of your body is because you have scar tissue. That's right, scar tissue. Fiber the body needs to try to wall off the inflammation from spreading so you don't go into mutation, and to also stop the parasites from coming into a weakened state. Or it's calcification taken from the bones because you had to pull the calcium from your bones to actually alkaline the tissues. And you know why? Not because of cancer, because there's no such thing as cancer. There's only such thing as inflammation. And inflammation is like fire, inflamed, it eats up oxygen. You have a drop 35% in oxygen in your cells, and that is what they call cancer. And it doesn't mutate into anything. It has to change its assembly line from oxygen, because there's not enough, to lactic acid, which you have a ton of by the time you drop in oxygen, okay, by 35%, because you're an acid pool now. And you couldn't pull enough calcium to actually buffer it down, because guess what? Because you didn't know that you were in a mental, emotional chaos. And you created what you think is a physical disease, which is just being out of alignment. But every disease just means you're out of alignment. You've got a physical block going on because you have an emotional block, because we never really go and do our homework. I was just talking to Marie and I said, people, they're actually scared to come and take my 90-day whole life health certified course. Why? Because they've been told that if you ever go in there, okay, you might go insane and have to be put into an asylum or need drugs. No, you're going to find out that you are a beautiful person that was programmed from the age of 0 to 7 to believe that there's such thing as diseases. There's such thing as genetic diseases, which there isn't. There's such thing as autoimmune diseases, which there isn't, because your body would never attack itself. All you've got is that circulation, because you've got blocks, just like you would have, a dam built in the river. It's stopping the flow. And when you stop the flow, you're going to have pressure. And that's the pressure you feel in your body called pain. That's the swelling. That's the inflammation. Okay. That's the stiffness. That's the redness. That's the heat coming off of it, because you don't have increased circulation. You have decreased circulation, where your blood is becoming a swamp because it can't move. And when it can't move, that at every swamp, guess what? What came first? The swamp or the mosquito? Thank you. The mosquito. So the reality is, Cardio Medbed, it's a game changer. 1 hour on this thing, okay, you could fall asleep, but still, it's the most powerful workout for the human body on all levels, even emotionally. Remember something, a physical detox is also an emotional detox. And understand this, okay? Your metabolism never changes. It's just the blockages in your body. That's right. Your joints are stiff because of scar tissue and because of calcification. With a cardio med bed and with calcium ion therapy, okay, both non-surgical and cell-sonic regeneration, that's not why. I'll give you a money-back guarantee that if they told you it wasn't reversible, I'm telling you it is reversible. And I'm telling you the impossible is not impossible. It becomes I am possible. And I'll give you a money-back guarantee on the first treatment that we do on all of these things, that we're going to rock your world. Because guess what? You've all been deceived. And guess what? Do we live in a sick world? Help me out here. Well, the world's not sick. But I'll tell you something. Healthcare is really sick. And that's because healthcare is run by corporations. And I'm not going to get into it, but most of you are waking up to that fact. The reality is guess what? You need to be the hero and the practitioner to this story. You need to learn how to create the perfect day for you. And a big part of it, believe it or not, if you can't afford a cardio med bed, okay, which these things cost $250,000, and we're actually taking them out of hospitals. That's rough because the cardiologists don't want them there because they'd be out of a job. At least 90% of their work would be gone. You get what I just said? And we're selling these for $45,000 plus a $10,000 training, which is whole life health certified, 9 days, Wolf non-surgical certified, the most powerful body work in the world, and it is. Okay. And also a 3-day masterclass for women on how to restore your pelvis. That's a $10,000 training plus lifetime support. And if you're opening up a business, we have so many tools for you. And if you're not, we're going to be there on the phone with you whenever you need us. Marie, what do you think of that?
I think that I want to sign up for 10, please. Dr. Wolf, what can I say? I mean, your energy, your excitement, your enthusiasm about this product almost matches mine because I have been doing this since 2001, 1994. But in 2001 is when I really started immersing myself into this device. And if I had to do anything the rest of my life, would be probably talk about this device. And yes, I am in Italy. And I don't know if you know much about old countries. I know you live in Mexico, right? In Ixtapa. And I'm in a little village in Sicily. And what's really interesting about the people here is the older ones are not very wealthy. They're poor. So maybe with respect to what we consider, they feel that they have more than they need, and it's more than adequate. One of the people that we think is poor is probably richer than the rest of us. And the reason I say this is I observe them in their 90s, 95, 98, walking uphill on cobblestone streets with 3 bags of groceries and a 6-pack of water. And they're going uphill and they're walking with the cute little high heel shoes. What are they doing, Dr. Wolf? What are they doing that's different?
I'll tell you what they're doing. First of all, they don't live in America where we are mentally programmed for the cane, then the walker, then the wheelchair, and then the depends, then hospital, then hospice. And guess what? We are mentally programmed. And also, we have to understand something. The United States is poisoned more than any other country on the planet. So I am not picking on the people, but the people need to wake up to the fact that embrace nature, embrace that you're more than you told you were. And guess what? I will tell anyone that if you've got a cane or a walker or a wheelchair and your spine's not cut, you can get out of there. But if you've been told that once you're in there, you're never getting out again, and you believe the medical mafia, well, then guess what? Then you are living the family curse.
That's true. That's true. Because of socialized medicine, a lot of people don't end up going to doctors. They end up going to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist has a holistic approach and will probably prescribe an anti-inflammatory, topical, natural cream for their, whatever is ailing them. So basically, they don't see doctors, and they're moving about the country. What are they doing? They're exercising. They're oxygenating their blood. And so they're basically mimicking a little bit of what the Medbed can do, right? So basically, I guess my point is that you have these people that are exercising and have exercised their whole lives, and they're much more fit than the people in the United States, or maybe even Canada. I don't know what Canada's population is like. But to the point of the Medbed, we don't have in the United States aside from San Francisco or other cities that I know, we don't have uphill climbs. We barely park our cars close enough to the grocery store so we can get in, buy our processed food, and get out, right? And we don't even want to walk. And you have these 90-year-old people walking up hills. So I guess my point is the Medbed basically gives you that opportunity to take it back to a simpler time where we were moving our bodies in such a rhythm and it is a rhythm because it pumps and it pumps and it pumps and it mimics your heart, and you can move with that rhythm, and you can synchronize your breathing to it, and you can fall back into it and relax and just get your body flowing. And even though you may have a little pain here, a little stiffness there, after you're on this Medbed for a minimum of 10 days, you're going to have the oxygenated relief that comes from having your cells, your tissues, your organs, your muscles just woken up with this beautiful flow of fresh blood. And so it is a very, how shall I say, it is a very big step to jump into. Just like you said, Dr. Wolf, a lot of people would rather complain than take action. But taking this step may seem big, but it's actually the first step and the big step into turning your life around.
Oh, let's see how much the average person burns through their life savings. Let's see how the average person actually thinks suffering with pain, inflammation, and stiffness, okay? And they actually believe they need drugs to numb out their pain. They actually believe they need their surgeries. Okay, let's see if they're still having a beautiful life. Let's see if they're even working and making any money or living their passion and purpose, or are they just limping along praying that Savior's going to come, whatever that may look like. It's not coming, and if it was, it would have been here already. Rafa, why don't you play the video and show how a cardio med bed actually works, please? Go ahead, Marie. We're waiting for him to tune this up or get it ready. But go ahead.
So there you have it, everyone. It's
people do. Let me tell you something, Dr. Wolf. I have been speaking with a lot of cardiologists, and sneaky them, the ones that had gotten rid of their beds, now they're acquiring them for personal use.
For their homes, of course. If they're, yeah. You know what? I'm going to say this, and please, this is not trying to be disrespectful, but it doesn't take a lot of money to buy off the average human. And guess what? I had a conversation yesterday with a bunch of really well-known practitioners in the United States, because we get together and we have meetings. And everybody said the same thing. The only thing on the table this year should be integrity.
Right. Exactly. And what is happening is that when they do purchase these devices, and you have insurance companies that are not going to pay for a patient with an insurance, a Medicare insurance or whatever, they're not going to pay for this therapy. They don't even offer it to the patient for an out-of-pocket cost. They just say, oh, we're not going to do it. And so they would rather not figure out a creative way like all of your practitioners do. They would rather not figure out a creative way where their patients could receive the therapy and maybe make them do monthly payments or maybe help them out with the price. They would rather not do that. They would rather get rid of the bed, or they would rather perhaps keep it for themselves, put it in the garage, but they know it works. They just don't want to work on anyone else. And I'll tell you,
and bringing that up if I could. Oh no, you tell your story first.
No. I was just, please go ahead. I'll
okay, well,
tell
don't
you.
forget your story, okay? And just know this, okay? as far as the bed goes, I want to give an example, and I always want to give a fresh example. We have so many unbelievable, oh, this is irreversible, can't be turned around story. You need to have surgery now stories. Okay. But here, so now we have someone at the DoD 5-star that just came in on Sunday. So she went on the bed the first time. 20 minutes of that hour, the bed was beeping. It couldn't get a smooth rhythm. And she goes, "There's something wrong with the bed." And I'm going, "Listen, I'm relaxed." She goes, "I'm breathing right." I'm going, "Yeah, I know. Do you know what this is? This is an anxiety program that you don't even know you're playing, that you got when you were younger as a child." Now she's been on the bed 3 times. So the first time, 20 minutes, the second time, 10 minutes, it wasn't functioning. You were going, and guess what? Yesterday, smooth all the way through. And she said, "You know what? When I was on the bed, I finally realized you're right. I run a fight, fright program 24/7. And guess what? It's all the trauma I've been through." And I said, "Yeah, well, we've talked about that. You got to rewrite the story from here on forward." And understand the other thing, everyone, we will do whatever we can. I mean, we help people as much as we can if they're coming in for treatments. And if you want to look for a cardio med bed, go to dodpowerpack.com and go on the map. We have cardio med beds all over the place. And guess what? We are selling them almost weekly. Hey, Marie? So you need to understand, and a lot of them are going to families. We sold 3 in the last month, actually, to families that's going into their homes because they get it. Perfect circulation, perfect health. And the other thing is, we also have financing. So if your finances aren't in rough shape, you can finance a cardio med bed. And I do mean this, and this is the truth. These things brand new were $250,000, up to $250,000, eh, Marie? And we're selling them for $45,000 with a $10,000 training, because it doesn't matter if you're a health professional or you're a person from the majority of the people are not health professionals. But guess what? Wouldn't you like to be, the most intelligent practitioner in the room? Because that's what you're going to get from our training. And understand, and if you don't believe me, these beds are in mint condition, just like brand new. And if you bought a brand new bed, guess what? You get a 1-year warranty. We're going to give you a 2-year warranty to prove to you that, guess what? This bed is first class. And you're getting that 2nd-year warranty without cost. There's not another person on the planet that gives a 2-year warranty. So just know that. Okay, so we stand behind it. We stand behind training and supporting you all the way through. Okay, so it doesn't matter who you are. If you want, you can check out the financing on dodpowerpack.com. How about your story?
So first of all, I was going to tell you, your patient was thinking that there was something wrong with the bed without ever having been on it, or without ever knowing what it was doing. Maybe beeping was a normal thing, right? But instantly, fight or flight, she was protecting herself and she was going against it. And she wasn't even in rhythm and in sync with the bed. And it takes a little bit of time, but once you're in sync and in rhythm with the bed, that's when the magic happens.
If I can say this, I don't mean to cut in, but when you're in sync with your breathing,
Yes.
You'll be in sync with your life. You won't react and attack. You won't take things personal. You won't need approval. It's all about honoring your breath, honoring your 50 trillion cells.
Exactly. And moving downstream instead of trying to paddle upstream all the time, right? So it's rather interesting. I have a story about a dear friend that we have here, 60-year-old, super healthy guy. He did Dakar, the motorcycle race in Africa 3 times. Super healthy guy. Last year, he had a triple bypass. triple bypass. They cut him up from neck to bottom, completely debilitated this man. The activeness that he had all of these blockages. Okay, so they did this bypass. Everything was going to be perfect. Now he was going to get his life back. Not only did it take forever, and he is still healing for all those cells and all of those little arteries to heal. Because you see, doctors would rather cut you up than give you a therapy that would be natural and that would be a lot more non-invasive and easier to withstand. So got cut up from neck to bottom, and long recovery time, lost a lot of weight. You know, your health gets worse when you've had a procedure like that, obviously, right? So fine, he finally gets his life back in order. A year later, here I am again. And his arteries that he just had bypassed are now 45% blocked. And another one is 65% blocked, the same ones. And so I said, you need to get yourself on a med bed. I said, right away. So he's making some plans to get to the United States to go see someone who can treat him with the med bed, because I'm telling you, they will operate on us as much as possible, because
as much as we want.
Exactly. And we believe them. So basically, the whole story is you have to not accept what you are told as truth, that you need that bypass surgery without doing your homework. You know, you have to look for a different way. You have to.
Can I explain the ABCs to people?
Yes, please.
Okay. First of all, I want everybody to do your homework. Surgery causes more scar tissue and displaced calcium in the human body than anything else on the planet. There it is, hands down.
Period.
You don't realize, okay, that the heart has 40,000 brain-like cells, and they found out they're not brain-like cells. These cells have 40 times more energy and light coming off of them, potential, than the brain. The heart, if it gets damaged, will actually become stronger if you go on a whole plant-based keto diet, if you do some maybe advanced water fasting, if you go on things that actually will support the heart, like Beyond Ormus electrolyte minerals, fiber clear systemic enzymes. Okay, you've got to replace what it needs. Now, does somebody get surgery because of lack of surgery? Does somebody get chemo because of lack of chemo? Does somebody get radiation because of lack of radiation? So when you do surgery, you are creating the highest trauma drama in the body. When you do, if the person is fearful about the actual surgery, the more fear they have, the even worse it's going to be. Because guess what? The more that you trauma drama, the more in pain your body is. Why? Because of inflammation. The more exhausted you are. And understand, when they cut you open with that knife, every cell in this area is doing this. It's freaking out. If I went and ran after you with a knife, I'm telling you the truth. If you don't want the truth, switch off right now. If I ran after you with a knife, you'd feel your life is being threatened. All of these cells in here, as soon as that knife goes in, all of those cells feel threatened. And they actually instantly, a hormone chemical is released, and those cells thicken the outside walls to try to protect themselves against an invader. Depending on the amount of inflammation and how much love that person puts that knife in when they cut you open is going to depend on how much scar tissue. Surgery causes more scar tissue than any other, because the more trauma, the more inflamed, you're going to lose oxygen. It's going to become inflamed. Your body sends tons of fibrin to the area to wall off this weakened state of tissue so the parasites don't come in and feed on it. And so the inflammation doesn't spread. So now you're pulling not just that, because as soon as you're inflamed, you're acidic and your pH drops. That's not a goodie. Okay, so what then is instantaneously calcium ions are fracturing your rib cage bones, and you're releasing calcium to come to the area to try to alkaline the pH in the area because it just went highly acidic. And when you go highly acidic, if it's too long and too strong, they call that cancer. It's called lactic acid buildup. And if the lactic acid builds up too much and your oxygen in your cells drop by 35%, that's called suffocation, not mutation, because cancer does not mutate. It says, look at all the lactic acid. I can't survive with a 35% oxygen deficit. So I need to survive on something. I don't want to die. Well, look at all this lactic acid. So now it starts eating the lactic acid. And then guess what? Its byproduct is lactic acid. Okay. So understand something, guys. If you do that and you get that done and you do any heart stuff, you better go in and look after the calcification and the scar tissue formation, because what did you just say? You just said that he's got blockages. And what does everybody think it is? They think it's cholesterol. It's not. Cholesterol has never been the problem. Nobody ever dies or gets sick because of high cholesterol. You all have been screwed over. Okay, cholesterol levels were 350. That's it. If your cholesterol levels hit 350 100 years ago, they go, well, we might need to get worried here. They dropped it down to 220 to 250 on purpose. And guess what? Are you ready for this? Don't believe me, because what do I know? I'm just a guy trying to sell cardio Medbed, right? This ain't no infomercial. Let me tell you that. I'm going to tell you something right now, and that's this. The people with the highest cholesterol live the longest. Why don't you go and find out? Eskimos, the Japanese, okay? All right, the Hunzas, their cholesterol levels are through the roof, and they live the longest. So are we done yet? So all of that problem with the arteries getting the plaque again that you're talking about, it is calcification and scar tissue formation. Now, does anybody want to know why the cholesterol's in those arteries again? Because guess what? From the inflammation that was created from the surgery, you didn't take enough stuff like Ormus minerals. Beyond Ormus minerals are the highest alkalining electrical charged minerals on the planet. And so when you went and did the surgery, because of the acidity and the inflammation, you pulled the last bit of minerals and nutrients out of the walls of the arteries. And when you did that, guess what? You were pulling calcium out and alkaline minerals, and you were creating cracks in your arteries. What does the body say? Oh my God, this is going to take a little while to heal. So it makes more cholesterol and sends it to the area to actually, cholesterol is like candle wax, and it goops up the crack in the artery to save your butt. Because guess what happens? Does anybody know what a heart attack is? Does anybody know what a stroke is? Guess what it is? Are you ready? It's a blood clot. And do you know why it's blood clot? 95% of the time, because you had a crack in an artery and you were pulling so much calcium into your blood, because if your blood levels drop just a little bit, you go into a coma. If your blood levels drop even more acidic wise, you die. So instead of that, your body is pulling tons of calcium into your blood. And guess what? It says you poop up those cracks, because if that little piece of coral, because it's like coral, microscopic, if it comes in, it's got jagged edges. If it gets into the crack, it'll poke a little hole, and then you'll have a blood clot. Welcome to the truth, everyone. And there was a guy used to be on the radio and said, and the rest of the story is, and that's the rest of the story. And you want to hear the ending of the story? When your doctor says that you've got too much calcium in your blood, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You have all that calcium in your blood because if you didn't, you'd be in a coma or dead. I just explained it. And if you were to give people calcium ion therapy, whether it's Megagen, which is the weakest one, or Merigen, which is the strongest, then they wouldn't have that calcium problem in their blood. Hypercalcemia in the blood is because your blood has a chance to go acidic, and it cannot drop in pH. If it does, you die. So you will give up all your minerals to other places of the body. You will give up calcium from your bones and from the tissues, okay, to keep that blood regulated so it never changes. Now, you've never been told that before. And you want to know something? It took me 20 years to get a piece from over here, get a piece from over here, get a piece from under here, because they're so good at hiding the truth. So either I'm a quack and just making this up because I need to sell you a bed, or you should actually go do your homework and find out that, guess what? The whole healthcare system was built on fraud. And do not blame your doctor. Do not blame your nurse. This is not a fight. These people got into this business to help you. And understand something. Do you remember when you were doing something to yourself or your family and you didn't know better? Well, you shouldn't have guilt either. It takes time to wake up. So we are not going to pick on the medical doctors or the nurses that had very good intention. And now guess what? They've got mortgages. They've got children in school. They don't know what to do. And guess what? They're threatened by big pharma all the time that they cannot sway one little bit or they'll lose their license. How would you like that hanging over your head? So the next time you want to complain about your doctor, just remember, they're drug dealers in the chemo, radiation, and surgery business. They're not into anything else. They know nothing about eating right, detoxifying. And if they do, they're not allowed to tell you. They're only allowed to share it with their family that they love. Like you asked Marie, and I'm telling you right now, how many people know this one? 78% of oncologists would never, ever put their wife or their husband or their family through what they did. That was an actual study. And you can take that to the bank with you too. Marie?
It's true. I know an oncologist, and she wouldn't want to take that chemotherapy either. So I completely agree. You have to, like you said, do your homework, but you have to also be responsible for yourself. I mean, if your doctor wants,
Marie, can we be fair?
yes.
How can I be responsible for myself when somebody said, here's a hammer, tighten the screw? So understand, it's not your fault, anyone. So when we're saying you need to be responsible for yourself, we're telling you it's not going to get any better until you, get better.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because we want to listen to our doctors, we want to follow their advice. We think that they are the answers to what we need. Meanwhile, going back to my Sicily story, you have the little old person that can't go to the doctor, that won't go to the doctor, that says, I'm not going to the doctor because I don't want to see a doctor. And they follow their own rhythms. They follow their own bodies, and they honor that. They don't take medicine. They don't even take pills for a headache, for goodness sake. So it's just an example of how you can, these people, you want to call them ignorant, you want to call them poor, you want to call them whatever you want, but for whatever reason, they know more than us college educated people who go and follow doctors' advice, right? And I think that there's a lot to be learned from stepping outside of yourself and thinking there's got to be a different way. There's got to be a different way. And I believe that if you work with Dr. Wolf and you do follow his sage advice and you do a little bit of research on the Medbed, I do believe that there is a potential to turn your biological age back. And not only that, we're not just talking about feeling healthy and not having that pain or not having that acid reflux. We're talking about then having the freedom to spend your time doing things that are so beautiful and wonderful, like going to the beach and not suffering or worrying about, oh, I have to lug all this stuff down, or you're skipping on rocks. I've been skipping on rocks, Dr. Wolf. I have beautiful beaches here, and they're not sandy beaches, they're rock beaches. And do you know how amazing it is when you have your feet directly connected with those rocks? I mean, it's the best acupuncture I've ever had. And so when you are enjoying the best version of yourself, you don't need money. You don't need anything except yourself and your beautiful vessel of a body that you have. And you can be responsible for yourself and live your best life ever. And I feel like the medbed is a little miracle, so to say, in the stagnant lives that we have developed in the United States and probably some of the rest of the countries. I mean, I look at countries like Dubai and we've got air conditioning. We've got, we live on ground floors of buildings. We're on the fifth floor. We walk up the stairs. There's no elevators. We have, all these little conveniences. We've got our big cars that look like people's living rooms. And we go to these mega grocery stores and fill up our carts, right? Well, when I sit back and I look at these people who climb five stories down, buy their groceries, they probably walk at least 3 miles a day just to get their groceries, go to work, go pick up their kids from school. What is that? We don't have that.
No, we don't have it. You know what? Convenience is a killer. Escalator, elevator, and I'm going to tell you something, everyone. This is not just for people that are unwell. So let's make this really clear. I go on this, okay, 3 to 5 times a week, okay? I go on this, and I still live my life very close to the way Marie said. But understand this. Look at Olympians use this. Athletes use this, okay? All right? People use this because it is the most powerful workout in the world. If you do an hour on this, you're not going to be getting on a bike or you're not going to be doing any exercise because you just went and did the most powerful exercise on the whole body. And that's the reality. Remember, if you don't want to be stiff, if you don't want to have a swollen face, if you want to have proper bowel movements, if you want to have joints that open up and close smoothly, if you want to keep your muscle strength, if you want to keep your lung strength, if you want perfect circulation, no varicose veins, no cellulite, no fat cells, and understand something, when you buy a cardio med bed or you go to someone with a cardio med bed, there's a very good chance that if they bought a bed from us, cardio med bed, they took the Whole Life Health certified. They know how to get you that perfect day. They know how to tell you the truth, and you're going to go, this is all just too logical. Remember something. Guess what? If you want to take a look at the way you're living your life, and if you were to sit down and actually align yourself into a calm state, you'd go, there's hardly anything logical in my life. There's nothing logical. I'd rather talk to an 8-year-old because they get it. The more that somebody's been educated in this system out there, it's like talking to a brick wall. The only time that you will see people come, adults, because they're adulterated, come, is when they're down on their knees begging God, please. Too bad. It's not just so sad. Okay? So understand, if you don't want surgery, okay, if you want to heal your body, if you want to stay youthful, if you want to be a lean, keen, toned machine, ask yourself, what is it worth? And a lot of people won't be able to do this because they've been so emotionally beat up through their life that a lot of people just have bought into the struggling, suffering. This is the way. And guess what? My heart goes out to you. Marie?
And that's really heartbreaking to hear when people are suffering so badly that they really can't even enjoy a sunset or a sunrise. It's very, very sad. But to your point, Dr. Wolf, maybe at our age, we're some spring chickens here. starting at our age, a majority of people have already been on blood thinners and blood pressure medication for what, 10 years already. We don't touch those things, right? But my thing is that if you took, say for example, starting at age 50, if you were told that you had to start taking medication and for various issues that you had, and for example, blood pressure medication, there's a lot of people that start taking it and then they get off of it, and then they start taking it again, and then they get off of it and they start taking it. They're doing the seesaw thing, or they're this up and down thing, but they're spending money on medication. They're spending money on doctor's visits, getting their blood drawn. For the price of this bed, you are making a lifetime investment. These beds are pretty sturdy, right, Dr. Wolf? They have very little problem.
They're built like tins. They do weigh 1,200. They do weigh 1,200 pounds, everyone, because they are built that good.
And they have to be. They have to be, because they have to last a long time. They're working as hard as your heart is working, right? They're pumping to the beat of your heart. So the investment that you make in this device is probably going to, the money that you spend is probably going to replace the money that you're going to spend on everything else, right? So the device itself may seem a little intimidating, and it may seem like it costs a lot of money, and maybe you don't want to make that kind of a commitment to owning your own device. So find someone that provides this therapy. Try it out. Do, 10 sessions. That's all. 10 sessions. 10 sessions. 1 hour a day for 10 days, or 2 hours a day with a little bit of a break. 2 hours a day for 5 days.
And guess what? You're going to see miracles happen. Not just here in your body, but in your mind. You are going to see changes of relief, anxiety come down. You are going to feel so centered. I know you may not believe this, but it's true. I mean, perfect circulation, perfect circulation, everyone. Go to dodpowerpack.com and take a look on our map. And also go to dodpowerpack.com, watch the videos, take a look at the information on the cardio medbed and the self-sonic regeneration, because we believe that we have the 1-2 punch to reverse all irreversible things, along with the training we give you on how to create a perfect day on the emotional, mental, nutritional level. Okay, this is my guarantee. Okay, and I want you to challenge everything that I say all the time. Challenge everything I say. Don't just tell me I'm a quack. Prove I am. Don't tell someone beside you I'm lying when you haven't done your homework. Because guess what? That's your subconscious just ruled, schooled, and fooled you, and you might have missed an opportunity to have a happier, healthier life.
And that's a fact, Dr. Wolf, because in my career, the history of my career, I can't tell you how many times a doctor has told me that I didn't know what I was talking about and that I'm a quack. And we serve medical doctors all the time. But then there are those who actually do their homework, and not only do they use the device, but they also use it on themselves and on their family members. And those are the ones that definitely understand what you're talking about and what this device actually does. And so you're gonna try to tell people to go and invest in this device. I think your plan to have them do their own homework is definitely the most valid plan. You don't want to make an investment that you don't feel comfortable in.
Yeah, and also, listen, everyone, call me. 855-900-4544, extension 5. And then if you don't think that you know enough, why don't you bring on a relative that's in the health industry and let them come on with their challenging questions. I'm here. I'm an open book. Or you can call USA Direct 469 861-8884 on WhatsApp or USA Direct or on FaceTime, okay, or on WhatsApp. I don't mind getting on a video. I'll show you things and understand something. It gets delivered to your door, okay? If you decide you want it, and then you're completely trained and you never are left alone. You will call me, call Marie. We have a whole team. You have to understand this, okay? You can think whatever you want, but if it was money first, you wouldn't be paying 45 grand and getting a $10,000 training from a device that was 250,000, and then getting a 2-year warranty when you only get a 1-year warranty with every brand new device. Do your homework. That's all I can say. And then if you want to come for treatments and you're going to come for a bunch of treatments, then go to doppowerpack.com, take a look at the map, okay? And see what's close to you, or give me a call and we'll find maybe we'll find a cardio med bed that isn't up on the map yet because they just purchased maybe a week or two ago. But at least download the Perfect Day Guide, pdgfree.com. I will give you more take action help. If you have no money, it's free. Go to bhnapp.com and download that. That's the largest healthcare app on the planet right now. And if you join it, guess what? In 4 to 5 months, we will have the most advanced fasting app that's ever been made on this planet to track your fastings. It is beyond anything you've ever seen. Look at it. We're doing our part. We're just telling you to challenge your own beliefs and challenge what we say in a loving way. Marie?
I couldn't agree with you more. I love listening to you talk. I could listen to you all day. But I think a lot of people sometimes have the brain fog and can't see clearly. And when people have brain fog, it's because they don't have oxygenated blood going through their brain, right?
Bam.
So I think that if you don't have any clarity on this device, or if you need clarity, I think maybe trying it out and getting some treatments on it will bring you great clarity. It almost seems like everyone you treat, Dr. Wolf, ends up investing in one of these puppies because they don't want to go home without it. It's like going to the department store and trying on a new lipstick. Don't tell me about lipstick. I don't want to know how bad it is for me. But when I try one on, it just perks me up. And so I think it's the same thing. You got to try it. And once you try it, I'll guarantee you want to take one of these home with you. That's for sure. Love what you say, Dr. Wolf. Absolutely believe in you 100%. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you, Marie. And I guess it's later in the day for you right now?
Yes. I think it's 6 o'clock my time. Still early.
All right.
Not too early. The aperitivo doesn't start until about 7:30, so it's still early enough that I can get ready for that if I wanted to.
All right, love. Well, thank you for joining us. Okay, again, your information is powerful, and I hope everybody takes it to heart. That they actually take it to heart. Okay, and remember something, everyone. Your heart is an emotional recorder. And believe it or not, take a look at the people that you see that have heart problems, and you'll understand that they have a problem processing love. And you'll see people that have the most terrible diet, drink too much, do too many prescription drugs or street drugs, and they don't have a heart problem. And then you'll see people that don't do anything and they've got a heart problem. You'll see people eating terribly without a heart problem, people that are eating healthy with a heart problem. So take it to heart that you need to love and care for yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself. Okay? 50 trillion cells and 500 trillion bacteria came together to give you a community, which is called an adventure on planet Earth. Marie, what would you like to leave everybody with?
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, you're here for such a short period of time. Yesterday doesn't matter. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Why don't you make today your best day? Why don't you choose today to take yourself into consideration first for everyone else and take those necessary steps to improve yourself? If you, someone once told me that if you do something small every single day to improve yourself, by the end of the year, you would have improved something significantly. So take a moment to enjoy that sunset. Take a moment to smile at your mom and dad that may or may not be around for a little longer. But just absolutely take a moment to honor this because it is a gift. Life is a gift. And I know a lot of sick people that would trade places with anyone who is in moderate health right now so that they could work on making themselves better. Terminal people. So I don't want to leave you with that, but I want to leave you with sunshine and rainbows and happiness and make today your perfect day, right, Dr. Wolf?
Absolutely, Marie. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll talk again, sweetheart.
Yes, very soon. Very soon. Thank you. Take good care.
Be well.
Bye.
Well, there you go, everyone. And I will tell you that don't let your subconscious rule you. And I'm not telling you about coming on the cardio med bed or purchasing one. I'm telling you, don't let your subconscious rule you until every belief system in your subconscious was handpicked and created from that beautiful heart of yours.